YAH, Plantation, 9 to 5 be the time I was wasting. Man, I feel like I need a vacation, saving up for my resignation. Why I feel like my manager hating, ain't the one for no verbal castration. This government ain't giving reparation, we'll go to crime trying to fight the temptation.
Rejoice in tribulations, demonstrate patience in every situation, picking up the pieces to their heart restoration. People broken hearted and in need of salvation. We in captivity, we done lost our history, disconnected from his laws, now there's no integrity. Here's the book and let them see, because they dying in these streets, walking in darkness, and where the carcass is, the eagles be. Walking in darkness and where the carcass around us like vultures, murder on their mind when they approach us. Let your light shine, watch them scatter like roaches. Babylon falling cause we taking back our culture. Heal our land, Abba now, put us back in agriculture. This word burning them up, Romans is a flamethrower. We prophesy destruction, nukes coming, game over. International, continental, ballistic missile. Them bombs dropping like rain, no drizzle. The lake of fire make them sizzle, showing fruits of the spirit. We don't gather figs of thistles. That's the dog, you know, so just like you were saying.
Hey, my name is Amani Bright Laws. I'm a travel business owner. My business is Always Shine Bright Travel, where we help you discover your next bright destination. I want to talk to you really quickly today about becoming a travel business owner. Listen, if your passion is traveling, if your passion is exploring the world, if your passion is wanting to travel and explore the world, then you should become a travel business owner, okay? I have 2 easy ways to get started. Less than 1 minute, okay? The first way, up here, our website, travelagentworkshop.com. And please use my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright, okay? The second way is a text code. Text the word workshop to the number 281-767-9711. And again, reference my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright, okay? Listen. The workshop is free. It's a free 3-day workshop, which gives you all the information on how to get started to become a travel business owner. Okay. Any questions that you have will get answered within that workshop. Okay. So let me meet you on the money making side of travel, where you can turn your passion into your paycheck.
Y'all know what time it is. It's your boy Chef D-Nail. Over here, guess who's cooking? Good cooking, good eating, good living. Y'all know how we do it every Sunday about this time, man. We're going to get straight to it. We got the chicken and dumplings, all right? We got the perch fish with the mac and cheese, with the yams, with the 5 cheese toast over here on the Texas side. And, of course, we got the world-famous turkey tips, all right? We also got, on this one, we got the greens with the turkey tails, and we got the spaghetti. You already know what time it is, man. Hit the link, 773 992-4737 is the phone number to place your order every Sunday. All right. And you can hit us up on the Cash App to make payments at Guess Who's Cooking, the number 2. All right. You can hit the www.guesswho'scooking on the World Wide Web. You can catch us on Facebook Marketplace under Guess Who's Cooking. And, of course, on TikTok, man, at Guess Who's Cooking. Come on down. Get your orders.
Give me shame, I give you peace from underneath. Give me mind and being light to reignite. Can you open up the doors to let me in? Can you open up the doors to let me in? You could put the heart inside, don't tap my head. As I sing the love inside from out my mouth. Tell me what you need to find. Tell me now. Tell me what you need to find.
Living, we ride for Yahweh. Lead the way, Lord Yahweh, as we pray for the fall of America.
Look, psychological warfare and propaganda. False flags they broadcast on news cameras. Cancer in the bone, cell phones cause damage. But I put holes in the street like caterpillar jackhammers. I hate a Masonic fake prophet, so I gotta wave the Glock in your face, won't hesitate to pop it. This whole place demonic, that's why the plague bubonic. I've been hot since Pac and Dr. Dre the chronic. Illuminate the dark, my style state of the art. Like a laser that's razor sharper than taser darts. I don't play, I gotta make my mark. I used to shake the knocks, the plug with the iron and spray starch. Shady sharks eat the baby's heart. Drink adrenochrome and thirst for first blood. Sylvester Stallone, Toby, runaway slave in Saucony. I ain't your homie, the clown. I put a ring around your Rosie. Ashes to ashes, they fall down below me. No pocket full of posies, I only chop it with OGs. No Alexanders and Ptolemies. Vance and Trump, I put the pump to Pelosi. COVID disease, noses bleed. Choke you with your rosary beads and put your throne under siege. This your takeover. Seagull like Steve. In dark territory, I'ma shine cause sun beams. Truthfully, I'm the illest in truth musically. I'm no Julio Foolio, I sound like Schoolie D. That's why they charge me with treason. Look how I do fake Jews, Hebrews up heathens. Conquering demons, bobbing and weaving. The mark of the beast with Psalms and Ephesians. Keep busting till the locking is screeching. Ark of the Covenant, uncovering government secrets. Better believe it, this the Pledge of Allegiance. You paraplegic, I shattered the phoenix. Like a spinal cord, I'm back in all black. Squeezing the crack semen, need nothing with caffeine in it.
Yeah. Ashiyah, Micah Allah, Gabar Ash, HOI soldiers. The 2/3 going crazy, mentally bugging. The 1/3 waiting for Yahweh Shah's second coming. The world's going topsy-turvy like the tiddler. Confused that the bitter is sweet, it's bitter. But the hand of the righteous man is gonna get him. That's Yahweh Shah come to destroy the white man system. You don't know the half or can figure out the math. When Yahweh Shah blow for the fire from his wrath. All praises due to Yahweh the power. The most high, the Father, Rock Yasharala. Bring the judgment, manifest biblical prophecy. Murder, death, killing the earth against our enemies, staying strong, not weak, weary, and feeble. Ride for Yahweh Shah, and my peoples staying in the truth, Lord willing, till I'm devoured. I'm gonna hide, but ride and die for Yahweh.
Yo, how about I die for my God and Yahweh Shah? At the times of the wicked, He electrifies, sanctify all my people that was meant to fly, petrify all the demons that was meant to fry. Heathen nations in our hoods wanna gentrify, perpetual hatred. Lord, let me clarify. And 62:35. And I verify, Lord sheep under Howard, then we edify, liquefy, identify, maybe specify, intensify all the other nations that He terrifies. The Bible scriptures kill you bugs like insecticide, killing up the Hebrew children like it's pesticide. You other nations think you're good cause you stepped aside. Chariots and earthquakes come to rectify, killing all I do with your Lord genocide. The God of Israel power will I testify.
if that just
Shalom, shalom, shalom. HOI banger. You know what I mean?
Come.
All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Kwam Yasha'Allah, rise Israel. Double honors to our elders, still waking up the lost sheep of Israel in these last days. The lost sheep being you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. You know what I mean? Throughout the four corners of the earth, sold into slavery for your transgressions. We're going to talk about it. All right. For this class, is called, it's the time of great death. Your host Chaasadyah, my swordsman is
Brother Ariah. Shalom, family. It's a brother with a Bible.
Khan, all praises, King. All right, and we're gonna talk about it because if you haven't been paying attention, it's been a lot going on. So we're going to get into it. The strength and power of Yahweh B'Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shai, tying up the current events to biblical prophecy. All right. But first, let's start off with the Lord's Prayer in Paleo Hebrew, which you can find in Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 through 13. All right. And let's begin. The Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malachwaka, Thaba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashemayim, Nadananawa, Lacham, Kau, Yawam, Wasalaf Nawa, Kabawaf Yanawa, Kasalaf Nawa, Kabawaf Yanawa, Wala'ah, Thabi Nawa, Banasai 1, Abo, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwaf, Wa'ala, Watapalaraf, Lawalamyam, Aman. All right. So let's get started. We got a lot of things to cover. So let's start with the scriptures. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse 1. So how much judgment can the Lord fit into 1 week? A lot. You know what I mean? There's so much stuff going on that is very difficult to talk about. All of it will be here all night. So some things we're going to touch on that have been what you would call unusual, you know what I mean? Kind of out of the ordinary in the past week. Okay. Go ahead, King. You can bring it out.
Khan. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 1. Nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith.
We're definitely in that time. You know what I'm saying? People are being taken out of here in a large number. It's barren of faith. You know what I mean? Reading the scriptures and coming to the understanding that this is the Lord doing these things. It's far and few in between that people that really believe it. Even people that say they believe in the scriptures, like your like Christian brothers and sisters, you know what I mean? But that they don't follow the laws of God. Do you know what I'm saying? So with our people with the Gentile mind state, it's hard for them to come to the understanding that this is God doing this. Everything, this is Satan. This is Satan. The Lord said, look, I'm gonna take y'all out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? And they're, being barren of faith, and the truth is hidden to our people that want to do whatever they want, have that do as thou wilt mentality. The law's done away with, so I can do whatever I want. In their mind state, they can kill commit adultery with another man's wife, vice versa, a woman with a man. There's no off switch. You know what I'm saying? There's no like, where does it stop? You know, oh, Paul said we could eat pork. You know, we could even eat rat and porcupine and eat a mouse. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's the mentality, you can eat anything. And you know, that mind state is leaving us in a messed up predicament. You can see our cities and towns and everything like that, because you're not following nothing. You know what I mean? But the next this first video rather is pretty, you know, it's disturbing. You know what I'm saying? And this is the time period we're living in, though. It's like, if I don't see it, it doesn't exist. Oh, it is happening. You know, you are there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, doing the ostrich, but putting your head in the sand, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna stop nothing. You know what I mean? It should propel you to go a little bit further in your journey, in your walk, in this truth. You know what I mean? Read a little bit more, do a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Don't be stuck in you know, the mind state that, you know, nothing's going on, because everything's happening right now. You know what I mean? So I'll put that up.
Meanwhile, 2 women and a child also shot.
The tragic situation may be the worst tragic situation we've ever had in Shreveport. And
8 children dead, killed in a Sunday morning mass shooting in Shreveport. Meanwhile, 2 women and a child also shot in the head, now fighting to survive. The suspect steals a car and makes a run across the river.
It all ended with the suspect dead after gunfire in a Bossier City neighborhood.
Live and on your side, this is KTBS 3 News Weekend.
Good evening to you, Arklatex. Welcome to KTBS 3 News Weekend. I'm Madison Edwards.
I'm Daniel Brown. Thank you for joining us. That tragedy in Shreveport's Cedar Grove neighborhood tops our news this evening.
We've got team coverage tonight. Our Riley Curry standing by from the crime scene with the latest on what happened. Meanwhile, Jonathan McCall is standing by to tell us how the situation ended in Bossier Parish. And Brenda Teal will join us with reactions from neighbors in the Cedar Grove community. The incident already drawing international attention, and we've been working all day to keep you up to date with the latest information. Our team coverage begins in Cedar Grove.
Riley Curry has been on the story. She joins us live from the house where the young victims were found on the 300 block near West 79th Street near Linwood Avenue. Riley, what can you tell us?
Well, today is definitely a tragic day in Shreveport. This morning around 6 a.m., Shreveport police found 7 children dead inside of the gray home right behind me. And on the roof, they found another child dead, and all 8 juveniles were shot and killed, spanning from ages 18 months to 14 years old. Police say most of these children were shot in the head. Another child was in the home, and he did escape the gunfire, but he is being treated at a local hospital.
I just don't know what to say. My heart is just taken back. I want to let the community know that all of my resources are out here processing every piece of evidence at every scene, and at some time in the near future, we'll be able to give some more conclusive information about exactly what took place.
An adult woman was in the home at the time, and she was shot, but escaped to the house next door. While she was in there, she did call Shreveport police. In connection, another adult woman was in a different location in the same neighborhood on Harrison Street. She was shot in the face and is still in critical condition. She is believed to be the mother of some of the victims. A man who claims to be her father, Bulo Mays, was at the scene this morning.
I was just with my grandbabies the other day, and we was having so much fun. And I say, for any grandparent out there, be happy. be happy with your grandkids and have fun with them. I'm just praying that everything will be all right for my daughter. She's in the hospital right now. She's fighting.
In total, there are 11 victims, again, 8 dead and 3 living. The suspect is also dead. He was shot and killed in Bossier by Shreveport police after he fled the scene in a stolen car. SPD believes multiple firearms were used in the crime. Justin, SPD has confirmed that the shooter is named Shamar Elkins. We'll continue to follow this story and bring you more coverage as we learn more. Reporting in Shreveport, I'm Riley Curry, KTBS 3 News.
So, if you can hear in the background, I don't know if you can hear it, but it sounds like some Israelites is out there. Somebody's on the mic, you know what I mean? And I heard this is the reason why it happened, you know. So, you know, hopefully, brothers and sisters in that neighborhood will take heed to the warning of, you know, the time period we're living in. You know what I'm saying? Let's get 1 Peter 4:17. You know, and you gotta look at it like this, right? We're gonna go through a lot of stories, right? And some are, you know, got Esau shook, right? And when you look at it, the Most High God, right? The issues of death is through him, right? And 8 children. Do you know what I'm saying? It's almost like the 42 bears, 42 children that got ripped by the she bears. Like, yo, why would God do something like that? You know what I mean? That should put you on notice. Like, man, if they can get it, you know I can get it. It's definitely a time to repent. You know what I mean? And from their own father. You know what I'm saying? Their dad did that. Okay. Go ahead. Can you bring that out?
Con. You want 1 Peter chapter 4 and what?
17.
Con. This is 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse number 17. For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of God. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God?
So you gotta look at that. You know what I'm saying? The Most High will do, you know, his own people gonna get it. 2/3 of his own people gonna get it. Children, maids, you know what I mean? Start with the ancient of the temple. We, you know, looking at that in Ezekiel 9:4. You know what I mean? He's telling you, you know what I mean? If you don't got the mark, you are subjected to judgment and possibly a violent ending. You know what I mean? Like those children got, you know what I'm saying? So this is a time of great death. All right. And that ain't the only thing that happened this week. You know what I mean? It got deeper. Okay. From, you know, what you would call regular citizens to the politicians, things just kept, you know, snowballing this week.
On the potential warning signs before a shocking murder-suicide in Fairfax County. Former Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax is accused of shooting and killing his estranged wife, Serena, and then himself at their Annandale home. Their 2 children were inside at the time and called 911. New documents describe the couple as being in the middle of a contentious divorce. A judge overseeing the split recently wrote that Fairfax's, quote, isolation, drinking, and a lack of participation in family life are manifestations of what seemed to be a sense of fatalism and hopelessness. The judge also said tensions in the home had been extremely high for a while and ordered Fairfax to move out by the end of April. Court documents show Serena is the one who filed for divorce. She testified that they separated nearly 2 years ago despite still living together. It's referred to as same roof separation, which is allowed under Virginia law. We asked an expert about that tonight.
In Virginia, they can live under the same roof and still be separated. So one might live in the basement and one may live in the bedroom, but they wouldn't share bedrooms. They wouldn't share meals. They wouldn't do laundry together.
Serena also testified that her husband drank daily. A judge said that Fairfax's mental and emotional health suffered after multiple setbacks, including a big political fall. He was only the second African-American elected to statewide office in Virginia, and many expected him to eventually become governor of the state. However, that all came crashing down amidst multiple allegations of sexual assault in 2019, which he declined and was never charged for.
It is very important for truth to be established, and where sexual assault has in fact occurred, for resources and assistance to be provided to survivors. As the person accused, I also deserve to be treated fairly, seriously, and respectfully. A just society requires fairness and due process.
The accusations caused many of his political allies to cut ties with him, and his failed campaign for governor in 2021 essentially brought a close to his political career. Today, the Fairfax County Police Chief called it a fall from grace.
A relatively high-profile family that seemingly had a lot of things going in their favor. So tragic for the children to lose both parents. Extra tragic for them to actually be in the home when it occurred.
Now, the shootings happened shortly after midnight, and police believe that Fairfax killed his wife in the basement before turning the gun on himself in the main bedroom upstairs. FCPD says they have responded to prior domestic-related calls at the home. The most recent was in January. Now, this case is bringing new awareness to domestic violence, and we spoke with a local organization that helps people get out of unhealthy relationships.
It's important for people to know that when they're thinking of leaving, when they've recently left, or they're recently separated, that's actually the most dangerous time. That's when someone might feel they're losing their power and losing their control, and things can escalate.
So what can be done to protect the victims of domestic violence? Well, the governor of Virginia, Abigail Spanberger, just signed a series of new bills into law earlier this week, which we've laid out in more detail on WJLA.com. One of those is designed to establish a clear process for removing firearms from people who have a protection order against them. Another aims to close the intimate partner loophole for abusers convicted of misdemeanor domestic violence. There's also a bill that closes the so-called boyfriend loophole that allows the court to take a firearm away from someone convicted of domestic violence, including those in romantic relationships who are not married. If you need help, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. You can also text the word START to 88788. That hotline is available around the clock. And if you're struggling with your mental health, you can also call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. That is available 24/7.
Okay, so you know, it goes around the board. You know what I'm saying? This, like it says, like I said in Ezekiel, you know what I'm saying? Everybody can be at risk for this type of judgment. You know what I'm saying? There's ways to minimize possibly your exposure to this. You know what I mean? Let's get that. Let's go to Matthew 10. And we're going to start at verse 32. You know what I mean? He lived in the house, right? They broke up. He lived in the house and just drinking all day. You know what I'm saying? They call wine and spirits for a reason. You know what I mean? If you ain't got the good spirits around you, you are subjected to possession, demonic possession. You know what I'm saying? And if you do have the good spirits around you, if you are overly indulgent in alcohol, you know what I'm saying, in drunkenness, you know, that's not the way to go. Scriptures say, you know what I mean, you know, don't be a drunkard, you know what I'm saying? And especially if you're going through something, it just makes it a million times worse. Okay. Go ahead, King, you bring it out.
God, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, and verse number 32. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven.
God, that's important. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want that. You know, you want the the Lord to remember you. You know what I mean? Who's that? Samuel's mom. You know what I mean? And now it's like, I want a child, and what happened? You know, the Lord remembered her. You know, you want the Most High to remember you. You know, you want to stand out. You know what I mean? Like in any worldly job that you have, you know what I mean? They're about to do cuts. You know, the hammer's coming down, right? You know, you want to not show up late for work. You know what I mean? You want to be productive, because you know the hammer's coming down, and this on a grander scale, the hammer's coming down. You know, put something on your resume. You know what I mean? Make yourself useful to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You know, confess the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, go ahead, King. 33.
Con, verse 33. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven.
Con, and it seems to be you know, trending in some circles to oh, you believe in the Bible? You know what I mean? Like coming up to brothers in camp, like trying to scoff and you know, come across this information and reject it. You know, that is a dangerous thing to do, because you're not rejecting the brothers that are out in the corner, you're rejecting the Most High. And when you do that, you leave yourself open to retribution. Go ahead.
Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword.
So that's pretty much cut and dry. You know what I'm saying? He ain't coming to send peace. He's coming to send a sword. And that sword is clearly swinging as we speak. Right now, I just saw a report that bombs are now being dropped on Iran again from, you know, Israel and the United States, obviously, right? So if that's the case, then the war just got sparked up again, right? A Navy secretary just resigned today. You know what I'm saying? It is looking crazy, especially on the American side, because if you're winning the war, you really don't have to fire anybody. You know what I mean? People won't want to quit in the middle of the war. That's counterproductive, right? But that's what's going on today. You know what I'm saying? People are quitting, people are leaving, people are getting fired, you know. Just like last time when Trump was president. By the time he was done, his whole cabinet was like him and like 4 other people. And then this dude tried to hang his vice president by sending 1 million people on January 6th to the Capitol. So he has that Edomite, you know, me, take spirit on him, and he's doing it in the middle of a major war. So obviously the Most High is in control, and obviously it don't seem like it's not going back to normal. Okay, go ahead, King, you read on.
Con. But I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
Con, you know what I'm saying? So people in your own house, he's going to double down on that. Read on.
And a man's foe shall be they of his own household.
Con, so this dude is just sitting there getting drunk all day, right? Allegedly. And with the children in the house, he, you know, took out his estranged wife and then himself. Do you know what I'm saying? Now the children got to live with that type of trauma. Okay. Can you read 37?
He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me.
Con. So that just lets you know how much you should be turning over your life to the Heavenly Father. You know what I'm saying? More than the closest people you have in your life. You know what I mean? If you love them more than the Most High, then you're not worthy of the Most High. Do you know what I'm saying? And when people hear this, they're like, man, that's cold. But you look at it like he's the oxygen. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that's keeping you alive. You got to love him in order to even begin to love anybody else. You know, if you're on a plane and the oxygen tanks come down, they say you got to put yours on first before you help your son, your child, your daughter, you know what I mean, an elderly parent or somebody next to you, because if you helping them and you fumbling around and you ain't got no oxygen, y'all both gonna check. You know, so put that oxygen on you, and then you can help others. Okay. All right. Let's continue on. Let's go to let's go to Revelation chapter 6, verse 8. You know what I'm saying? We in Revelation times for real. So if you haven't heard, the report came out through the Mirror, right? Which is in British, I believe, through a ex-CIA agent that said during the weekend, Saturday, while brothers was at camp, right? Shout out to Gabar Ash. Gabar Ash said, he said, oh, you know why we here? So Trump, he pushed the damn button. While he was saying that, right? Trump was actively trying to push the button. This is the report. We're gonna look at it. He was actively trying to push the button, and a general named General Kane pushed back, like, yo, you psycho. You're not allowed to nuke them. You know what I'm saying? So they fighting back and forth. I don't know if it was physical, but you know, they arguing back and forth. So when Kane came out of the meeting, this high level meeting, you know, he had his head down. He looked, you know what I mean, pretty much defeated or angry or something to that effect, right? And now where we go, Wednesday, the Navy secretary, no, don't forget, America has a blockade against Iran and allegedly other countries, right? Coming through the Strait of Hormuz. They blockade the blockade, right? The Navy secretary, who Trump's always like, yo, we got our Navy is the most powerful. We destroyed their Navy. We destroyed everything. They got nothing. This dude up and quits or gets forced to resign. I'm assuming he got forced to resign. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, a lot of the high-ranking generals and everything, you know, they want to have a legacy along with, their services, right? So quitting is something that they don't normally do unless, look, you ain't got no choice. We're going to fire you in disgrace. You're not going to get a pension. You're not going to get this, that, and the third, right? So a lot of shakeups going on in the United States during an active war, all right? Go ahead, King, you can bring it out.
Revelation chapter 6 and verse, what you want, 8? Khan. This is Revelation chapter 6 and verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death. And hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth.
Like, this dude was ready to press the button on Iran, right? That's how close we are to this. We all know these things are going to happen. But like the Most High giving us like, yo, make sure you get it together, man. You know what I'm saying? Because once it's on, it's on. So boom, we bomb Iran. We being America. America bombs Iran. Immediately after that, North Korea bombs Israel. You know what I'm saying? They already talked about what they're going to do. You know what I mean? Turkey's right up in there. Turkey's invading Israel. China is with Iran. So guess what? Those nukes are launched. Russian nukes are launched. All coming over here. And the times that these things could happen could be 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. That's why I said I'm coming like a thief in the night. He's literally coming like a thief in the night. A lot of stuff, these geopolitical moves, they happen when we sleep. You know what I mean? Think about what was it, 27th when or the 28th when America bombed Israel. I mean, not Israel, Slovakia. America bombed Iran. If you like me, you found out in the morning. You know what I'm saying? It happened Friday night, going to Saturday. We about to go to, doing the Sabbath class. I'm like, we at war? Yeah, man. Stuff happens late at night. So, don't sleep on your sin. You know what I mean? Paraphrasing. So let's look at a little bit of what was going on as far as that interaction with Trump and his general.
Hey, guess what? So I'm watching Judge Napolitano. Welcome to the show, Jimmy Dore. You've been so kind and generous with your time.
He's like a nice Patty and Selma from The Simpsons.
So glad you could be here, my good friend. He had on the retired CIA analyst Larry Johnson, and turns out Trump was asking about the nuclear codes. He wanted to use the nuclear codes. You think I'm kidding? Let's listen.
They recognize they've got some problems. They got to try to deal with it. And then there was a report out that they had an emergency meeting Saturday night. And apparently, well, one report coming out of that meeting at the White House is that Trump wanted to use the nuclear, so-called use the nuclear code. And General Dan Kane stood up and said no. He invoked his privilege as the head of the military, so to speak. It was apparently quite a blow up. There are pictures of Kane coming out of that meeting with his head down to the ground. So, you know, there's some very, very bizarre things going on in D.C.
Well, on Saturday night, excuse me, Larry, Trump.
So there was a little more to that clip. I don't know what happened to it. But anyway, he goes on to say that Donald Trump is a very sick man. Oh, what does he say? Dangerous man? I know I tweeted it out today. Boy, by the way, when I tweeted out, so you get stuff like this. When I tweeted out that video, you get this guy Cat Turd. Oh, this is a clickbait garbage.
That impartial source of Cat Turd?
No, I guarantee you, if Trump actually found a way to nuke Iran, he would come out and go, "This is brilliant. 5D chess. Trump knows art of the deal. He knows what he's doing." That's exactly what he would do. So these guys are just they're like.
All right, I think he starts to go deeper into he gets deeper into, like, you know, people on Twitter and people that disagree with him and everything. But we got the gist of it. You know what I'm saying? He says, "Yo, we're about to nuke Iran," and somebody gave him pushback. You know, now people are getting fired, so he could up and fire this guy. You know what I'm saying? General Kane. You know what I mean? Or make his life miserable or whatever, because just like the lieutenant governor of Virginia, his mind is being infected by devils. You know what I'm saying? Remember Jizza and you know what I mean? Liquid Swords. His mind is being infected by devils. You know? So hey, shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all out there, man. You know what I mean? Because y'all giving him hell, man. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for him to sleep. This dude's up tweeting at 3 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. Like, when do you sleep? You know what I'm saying? He can't. There's no rest for the wicked. You know what I mean? So you know, keep it up. Keep it up, you know, throwing up them curses and praying to the Most High God that, you know, we get out of here. You see that it's working, obviously, right? And you know, if an evil spirit, wicked spirit jumps on you, you just get some crazy thought deciding, well, why am I thinking about that? You know, ask the Most High to send that to Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Ship that joint FedEx, overnight that joint, you know what I'm saying, to Donald J. Trump. Ask the Most High, you know, in Yahweh's name.
That alley-oop.
God.
That quick alley.
God. Right? Give him what he asked for. Give him what he wants. You know what I mean? He wants all that attention. Give him that attention. Have him all them spirits that they send to us. Boom. You know what I mean? Right back to him. All right. Y'all stay strong out there. We know it's a fight. As you can see, we already know who's gonna win. You know what I mean? It's already written. So let's just play our role. Okay. Now, let's continue on. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 7. This is an important story. We talked about this last week, but it goes further into you know, the way the Lord is working right now. Matter of fact, hold that, go to Obadiah 1 and 8. You know what I mean? The way Most High is working, he's like, I made the smith You know what I'm saying? Blow the coals, made, you know, nuclear weapons, these missiles and everything like that. And now he's gripping them up one way or another. You know, people, they did a class before called God or Government. Which one's doing this, God or the government, right? But when it comes down to it, whether it is the government, overall, the Most High is allowing these things to happen. Me personally, I think it's the Most High. And when you look at some of the cases, it's going to make more sense. Okay. Khan, so let's bring that out, King. Obadiah 1 and verse 8.
Khan, this is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau?
Khan, the wise men are being gripped up, sat down, you know what I mean? Thrown away. They can't find them. How do you disappear? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure it's possible, but it ain't easy. You know what I mean? And to disappear and not be on camera. The one guy disappeared out of his house within about a 45-minute time from his wife going to the doctor. He's gone. Cell phone still there. Apple Watch still there. His prescription glasses. You know what I'm saying? You gotta see, right? If you don't wear glasses, you might not understand. But you know, you ain't got them on, you be in some trouble. So left everything at home, and he pretty much disappeared. They had 700 cameras because this is important. This guy is high-ranking general, 2-star general. So in the eyes of America, he's very important. So they told people around the neighborhood, yo, if you got cameras, we need footage at this time and that time. They got 700 cameras and footage and nothing's there. Can't find this dude leaving. You know what I'm saying? So when we start thinking about it, like, that sounds kind of you know, not normal, abnormal, if you will, right? So and the scriptures say, you know, he's going to destroy the wise men out of Edom. All right, so let's watch the video first, and then we'll come back to the scriptures so you can see what I'm talking about. If this isn't something that you're aware of, you know what I mean? Because now the president's talking about it, you know, but before it was, you know, just people online, this, then, the third, putting things together. But here's the video.
Every day that I have on earth is a gift and a blessing, and I'm very grateful for that because, frankly, people are disappearing. Scientists are going missing. Now they're saying they're going to investigate this. The president himself is saying they're going to look into this and see if anything's going on. It's a little bit scary. I got to say, it's a little bit scary, but you guys knew that I might still show up even though it was last minute and I've had a really rough week. Like, you know, that's kind of like every week, but somehow we keep on making it through all of this.
And turning now to a story we've been following as well, high-profile American scientist vanishing, turning up dead. Well, this morning, yet another decorated scientist and defense researcher dead in a plane crash in South Carolina last week. Just found out about this. Investigators say James Moffett was flying his small personal plane. They were refueling. He was with his wife and 2 sons when that plane crashed near the Union County Airport, about 35 minutes south of Spartanburg. The family was traveling to their home in Huntsville, Alabama, to Raleigh when they
going to Raleigh. You know what I mean? Just put it out there. You know, just put it out there. He's going to Raleigh, and his plane just crashed. So, you know, we talk about the Archangel Michael. He's going to be dropping him out the sky. Let's continue on. Let's continue on. We're still in Passover season.
stopped there. Now, Moffett was an aerospace engineer. He spent a lot of time, his career Army test pilot. He also worked as a flight crew support specialist for NASA, where he took part in 14 Space Shuttle ISS construction missions. He is now growing in this, or adding to this growing list. This is a photograph now, a picture of all those that have either turned up dead or missing since 2022, actually. Now, the White House taking this matter very seriously. They've launched an investigation. They're trying to figure out if these are linked together. Right now, they have not tied all these together at all. Jan, back to you.
Lisa, you looked at me like you were watching a movie.
That's what this feels like. It feels like we're living out some sort of sci-fi novel here or movie. We're talking about some of the most advanced scientists tied to national security. So in a large population of people, of course, deaths occur. But when you're talking about this smaller pool of highly specialized individuals in a cluster in such a short period of time, it seems a little bit more unusual. I have to read some of this information from Amy Eskridge, who is one of the scientists who allegedly died of a reported self-inflicted gunshot wound. She was on a podcast in 2020, and she was saying that she was going to disclose she had discovered some anti-gravity propulsion information, and apparently that's widely discussed by UFO researchers who have claimed this advanced technology is what allows alien spacecraft to achieve impossible speeds. So she had discovered this. She was working on this anti-gravity, novel foundational work regarding anti-gravity. She was talking about how she was being targeted both psychologically and physically as well as a result of this. She was worried about her life. And then, so she hired a British intelligence officer to help her look into some of these threats against her. And then they allege that an unknown suspect fired a directed energy weapon at her, causing burns across her body using powerful microwaves. So when you read that, I mean, it sounds insane. But yes, that's why my face was like that when you had started this show off.
Lovely as always, but shocked.
Well, yeah, because even just taking into that, what she said on the podcast, it seems insane. But, you know, I don't know. It's pretty crazy stuff. I hope we get to the bottom of it.
After yet another Huntsville family is killed in a plane crash.
According to South Carolina coroner, 4 members of the Moffitt family were killed in that plane crash Friday afternoon.
The plane took off from Union County and crashed in a heavily wooded area not far from the runway. The cause of the wreck is still under investigation.
Shortly before 8 p.m., the Union County Coroner's Office confirmed all 4 passengers were dead. The pilot, James Moffitt, spent more than 2 decades in the Army before establishing his own defense research and aerospace consulting firm. His wife, Lisa Moffitt, was a first and second grade learning coach at a local school. The couple's eldest son, Andrew Moffitt, worked as a research engineer and scientist, while their youngest son, William Moffitt, worked in information technology and cloud security. Fox 54's Logan Alexandra Russell tells us more about the family.
In a city built on rocket science and the military, the Moffitt family embodied the very best of the Rocket City. James Tony Moffitt was a decorated Army lieutenant colonel and test pilot who helped support 14 NASA Space Shuttle missions over 2 decades before founding Moffitt Systems, Inc., a defense and aerospace consulting firm, while also serving as a principal research engineer at UAH until 2024.
It has now gone to the new chapter. The U.S. House Oversight Committee will now investigate the mysterious deaths and disappearances of now 11 scientists. They'd all been working on high-level space or nuclear power research, and they have either died or mysteriously vanished since 2022, some with some strange similarities, like leaving their homes without phones or wallets.
It does appear that there's a high possibility that something sinister is taking place here. We've asked all those agencies, the Department of Energy, NASA, the Department of War, to all share information with us so that we can see if we can put it together and find any missing links to try to solve what's going on here, because it's very unlikely that this is a coincidence.
Wow. Former FBI special agent and Fox News contributor Nicole Parker joins me now. Nicole, that is quite a powerful statement from the Oversight Committee chair. He can't just say things willy-nilly, loosey-goosey. When he says something, it has an import. It has a power. So the fact that he said that tells you something. Do you think something sinister is going on? And if so, what?
You know, Todd, it's an excellent question. I think at this point, it's just too soon to know. I myself find it very fascinating, as tragic as it is from the investigative perspective. It's fascinating to break down these 11 individuals. And that's exactly what I've done. I've done a substantial amount of research to see commonalities, things that were different. But I think, you know, looking at it, overarching thoughts is that there are 11 individuals. 5 of them went missing. 6 of them were dead. Of those 6, 2 of them were murdered. And I think it's important to note, for example, one of them was the individual, if you remember, the MIT plasma fusion research individual. He was found, you know, he was killed in his home in Massachusetts after the Brown University shooting. It was just a few days after. So it was the same individual that conducted the Brown University shootings and then later went on to kill this MIT plasma research individual. And so again, to think that that individual was linked necessarily to any of these other cases, I would say probably not. That's probably not related. Another individual that was murdered was an individual who was sitting on his porch in rural California and was shot on his porch at 6 a.m. Do I think that that's necessarily linked? I don't know that all of them are linked together, but I think what's important is to see that they may be individually linked to potential foreign intelligence services, espionage, things of that sort. But of the missing individuals, I think it's odd. None of them had their cell phones.
Yeah, exactly.
Who leaves their home in this day and age without a cell phone? 2 of them had guns on themselves. I think one of them, her cell phone actually was found and it was factory wiped. It was completely wiped clean. That's a very odd thing to see as an investigator. One of the individuals that I think is most alarming is she went hiking with her friends in the Angeles National Park and she suddenly vanished and disappeared. She was with 2 other individuals and they literally said she just disappeared. There was no sign or trace of her, no sign of a struggle. They did a substantial search for her. She just literally is gone. I think also the 34-year-old, that's a very young age. Her name was Amy Eskridge. And she herself, back in 2020, was on a YouTube interview and expressed concern for her life. And she said that she was concerned that, she could be taken out. And so she had done research on anti-gravity. There's commonality in all of these individuals. They all had, very substantial research experience, either with nuclear weapons, aerospace, defense systems, advanced physics. And these are things that other countries, they don't want to see us succeed at.
Nicole.
Were they trying to silence them to take them out? And that's what's important to know. We've got to get to the bottom of this and do a full investigation. The FBI, the Department of Energy, the Department of War, they are working together and they will do a full investigation and look at every single case. What is the age of the individual, the mental and health status of the individuals, and things of that sort? What were the relationships that they had? They will do full interviews. They will work with the local law enforcement because they have separate investigations for each of them. And so they'll take all of those cases, they'll put them together, and they'll start linking together patterns.
And I would just add one thing. NASA says it is now investigating because at least 4 of the individuals that you see on your screen were connected to NASA. And I would just add that in that group of agencies that you listed, all of this is connected.
Anna Paulina Luna's again telling us to look at she's a congressional representative, look at the Book of Enoch. It has a solar flash in there. I showed you guys that before. I mean, it is just such a wild time to be alive.
And he died yesterday, literally yesterday, right? So, let's see. All right. This guy is going to talk about something else related to that, but let's unpack this a little bit, right? So Esau is going the way of this is Russia or China. You know what I mean? China is pretty much known for their spying capabilities. They want to know what you're going to do next. They're the art of war. You know what I mean? Sun Tzu. They're we're not going to smack you unless you smack us first, and then we're going to smack you harder. Do you know what I mean? Like that type of vibe. Now, of course, Russia and North Korea, they will be the, they especially North Korea. North Korea, Kim Jong-un, he offed his uncle because he wanted to retain power. Russia, if you're on Putin's bad side and you're on in a hotel on the 10th floor, you might skydive off that joint. We get that, right? But one thing is that they're not big on, because America's a nuclear power. They're not big on being able to kill people on U.S. soil and get away with it. You know what I'm saying? That's just, it would be going against what we've seen in the past with them, right? Same thing with Iran. Even though Iranian scientists were offed by Israel and, of course, logistics of America, but they're still super Muslims, you know what I mean? To the point where it's well, if this person didn't harm me, then I'm not going to harm them. Do you know what I mean? God. They're still like that. They're still okay, let's negotiate. You know what I'm saying? Even though America keeps, smacking them every time they negotiate. So who does that leave? Do you know what I'm saying? It leaves the U.S. government, which why would they kill their own scientists? Do you know what I'm saying? That doesn't really make sense. Not saying Trump's not into that wet work, but he will probably do that to his opponents. but it leaves the Most High. And the reason why they're not talking about that so much is that they don't understand it. They don't understand how he operates. Well, that person was shot, and this person offed himself, and that person just got disappeared. So it all doesn't make sense. But when you tie it in, it does, because the scriptures tie it in Obadiah 1 and 8, and we're going to get other scriptures as well. As a matter of fact, let's get that. Let's get Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 and verse 7. Things start to make sense, you know, when you bring the scriptures in.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse number 7. We wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Yea, we have gone through deserts where they lay no way. But as for the way of the Lord, we have not known it.
They don't know how the Most High works. Do you know what I'm saying? They don't know how he operates. And we're going to watch a video afterwards where it's distinctly of the Most High using a very, I'll say, far out way of destroying somebody. You know what I mean? But you're not going to get this information from Esau because they don't know. They don't get it. You know what I mean? It's another person on here I'm going to talk about. He wants to know, what do you black people know? How come you guys aren't doing anything? You're not protesting. You're not like, this is ridiculous how we're going to war with Iran and, you know, let's get Trump out of here. Y'all just falling back. You know what I'm saying? What do you guys know? So they don't know what we know. We got to be honest with ourselves with that. Read on.
Verse 8. What have pride profited us? Or what good have riches what our vaunting brought us?
Read on.
All those things are passed away like a shadow, and as a post that hasted by.
We understand that the Most High, we're living in a time, that's why this class is called that, time of great death. We get that. You know what I mean? Esau's like, I don't know what's going on. Do you know what I'm saying? We're like, yo, all we got to do is be still and know that he is God, right? Vengeance is his. All right. Read on.
And as a ship that passeth over the waves of the water, which when it is gone by, the trace thereof cannot be found, neither the pathway of the keel in the waves.
You know what I mean? It's like these wicked are like, they're like a bump in the road, if that, you know what I mean? A little lifting up of the ship, you know. Read on.
Or as when a bird hath flown through the air, there is no token of her way to be found, but the light air being beaten with the stroke of her wings, and parted with the violent noise and motion of them, is passed through, and therein afterwards no sign where she went is to be found.
If a bird flaps his wings, all right, that little flap of the air, do you know what I'm saying? It's not something that we're gonna write a whole book about, you know what I mean? Write a story about, like, oh my goodness, you see what happened to that gust of air that came underneath that bird that was flying? No, it's pretty insignificant. Read on.
Or like as when an arrow is shot at a mark, it parteth the air, which immediately cometh together again, so that a man cannot know where it went through.
We talking about the arrow. We ain't talking about the air. The air is like insignificant. Read on.
Even so we, in like manner, as soon as we were born, began to draw to our end, and had no sign of virtue to show, but were consumed in our own wickedness.
They're born to be wicked. We run the world. Monroe Doctrine, you can't come over here. You know what I mean? The Homestead Act, we're giving all this, your land, the Native American land, to our people. Oh, now you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the biggest corporate welfare queen in the world is Elon Musk, but he tells everybody else, we don't need SNAP. We don't need to feed children reduced lunches at school. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the biggest hypocrites on the planet Earth, you know, work for nothing. Our people, our ancestors built this country and continue to run this country, right? You know, but they in their mind state is that they did everything. So you get rid of so-called Hispanics, and now that your strawberries are $10 a barrel, you know, or $10 for a little bit of strawberries that go bad because they're not picked right away. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, these people really believe in their heart of hearts that they're more important than what they are. You know what I'm saying? They're consumed in their own wickedness, man. You know? Read verse 14.
For the hope of the ungodly is like dust that is blown away with the wind, like a thin froth that is driven away with the storm, like as the smoke which is dispersed here and there with a tempest, and passeth away as the remembrance of a guest that tarrieth but a day.
Yeah, man. You're not even that important. The froth of, you know what I mean, what comes off of the sea. You know, the dust. What does it say? The dust that's blown away. That's their hope.
Yeah, tempest.
God. Imagine some dust gets blown away. You trying to get it. Let me get that dust. Man, that's a wrap. That's your hope. Your hope is you're hopeless. You know what I'm saying? Like a penny with a hole in it. You know what I mean? So this guy did a lot of research, and one of his what he said was about this. If you're seeing 3-Body Problem, it's on Netflix. I suggest you check it out. You know what I mean? A couple bloody scenes in there, you know, but what's interesting, what he says is that the US government, you know, decades ago, had their people read this book, you know what I mean, for a reason. And now I think what we're seeing is lining up is that reason. But let him say it.
During the Bush administration, key players in the federal government were urged to read the Chinese science fiction novel, The 3-Body Problem, written by a power plant engineer, Xijin Liu. It's about tri-Solarian extraterrestrials forced out of their own unstable solar system and headed for Earth. The tri-Solarians systematically monitor, mess with, and sometimes even kill human scientists at the frontier of human ingenuity. These are usually people working on nuclear, plasma, and particle accelerator physics. Sounds kind of familiar. Basically, the scientists that control the rules of reality itself. So why was the upper echelon of the American government reading this book? Why did a presidential advisor named Harold Malmgren, who worked directly with JFK, LBJ, Nixon, and Ford, and who was briefed on UFOs, why did he tell me that this is how the non-human intelligences operate, by tracking the frontier of human innovation? Why was Harold's daughter, Pippa, who was on George W. Bush's National Economic Council, tasked with reading The 3-Body Problem? And if connecting missing and dead scientists with aliens sounds super far-fetched, I get it. But it's worthy asking yourself why UFOs so very often seem to cluster around the very technologies that define strategic power. They show up at nuclear sites across the United States and the world.
All right. So, with that in mind, let's lock in. All right, with that in mind, let's get Isaiah 29 and verse 8. Yeah, Esau, I mean, it has to be scary. Can you imagine? Stop for a minute. Just stop. Can you imagine what it's like to leave out of your house? You're a scientist, right? You know what I mean? You know, money's nothing, vacations all the time. Like, you doing good in America, right? Financially, you're a scientist. People give you awards and so forth and so on. How do you feel now? Let's be honest. How do you feel? Do you feel like going to work? Do you feel that sense of pride that, you know, I mean, you can build nuclear weapons and you can backtrack, engineer so-called UFOs, allegedly. You know what I mean? You have to really be sinking right now. The boy that was on there is David Wilcock. He was talking like 2 days ago. He was like, yo, this is kind of scary. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is a scary time. You know, like people are dying and missing. And he's dead 2 days later. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay. Most High, like, all right, we get you out of here too. Let's get you going. This is a scary time for your Edomite coworkers, Edomites in high society, low society, wherever you want to, you know, classism, whatever. It don't matter if they in a trailer park or they Elon Musk. This is a scary time for them. And I'm loving it. That's just pure and simple. I'm enjoying myself, okay? Because they were destroying us. Now God is destroying them. That's how this works, and we're gonna read about it in the scriptures. Go ahead, King, you can bring it out.
It's like they're saying, the hunter is being hunted.
How does it feel to be hunted?
Like McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Isaiah, it's the book of Isaiah, chapter 29 and verse number 8. And it shall even be as when an hungry man dreameth, and behold, he eateth, but he awaketh, and his soul is empty. Or as when a thirsty man dreameth, and behold, he drinketh, but he awaketh, and behold, he is faint, and his soul hath appetite. So shall the multitude of all the nations be that fight against Mount Zion.
God, that's how it is. All them that fight against us, they're a blip on the screen. They're barely a thought. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, the Most High is taking them out of here left and right. David Wilcock here today, gone tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And the U.S. Congresswoman, Paulina Luna, talked about it like, yo, we got to do an investigation of what's going on. A off-site Twitter account, somebody that says, he has inside access and all that stuff. He said that extraterrestrial threat has Washington pretty much on lockdown. You know what I'm saying? They're in full crisis mode with this situation occurring. And it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's true or not, I would be in crisis mode if, you know what I mean? You don't know what's going on, how to get out of this thing. You know what I'm saying? So as you see, David Wilcock, he was pretty much like, man, every week is rough. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine? Like, he knows it's coming. It's another woman, Estridge. She knows it's coming too. She's like, yo, they're going to get me out of here. But who is they? That's the thing. People are like immediately go to the government. But with this consciousness, if you will, once you're aware of what's going on, you become aware of them, then they become aware of you. But in reality is they always been aware of you. You know what I mean? But now it's kind of in your vision. It's in your forefront. It's in the front of your mind. It's not just a fleeting thought. This is what's going on. When crazy things occur, it's not, oh, that's a coincidence. That's a coincidence. Meaning, for example, for the Israelites, when you're about to sin or do something you had no business doing, and somebody's car alarm goes off outside, and you like, was that? I wonder if those two things connected. It's connected. Deep down inside, it's connected. Do you know what I'm saying? But you want to, all right, maybe I could still get away with this. You can't. There's no way you can. So that being on the forefront of everyone's mind going forward, it makes it difficult for Esau to, continue doing the stuff that he's doing, knowing that the Most High will infect his brain to the fact where he wants to off himself, or he wants to sit on his porch at 6 o'clock a.m. and some random person just shoots him, or they're in their house and a guy shoots up Brown University and then just comes to his house and shoots him up, or another situation where the guy, he pretty much he just leaves out his house. He just gets up and goes, and he has nuclear secrets and everything like that, and nobody can find him. Everybody's looking for him. When you go down the list of the agencies looking for this guy, from the Air Force to the FBI to the local to volunteer groups to drones, planes, trains, automobiles looking for this guy, and they can't find a trace of him. Come on, man. It ain't that hard. It ain't that hard to come to the understand that this is how Yahweh Shema Shai is operating. Okay. Now, with that,
I got a quick precept. Numbers 22 and verse 31. Just to land me back off of what you were saying as well. We had a lesson yesterday. We was talking about how the Lord had Yahweh Shai create the different worlds. Principalities, dark places, and all of that stuff, high places, and all of that. Spirit world, the demons, the angels. Even in the movie Nefarious, where the demon was saying that they was basically telling the Edomite that we all around you. We always been around you. You just don't have the eyes to see us, but we always been around you. We've been here before y'all. Even in the movie with Denzel, Fallen, where they was talking about Azazel and they was talking about all the demons that was around the people the whole time. And they could see them, the demons, because it's all around the people, but the people don't have the spiritual eyes to see. And a lot of times the Lord showed mercy, because when you see these angels and these demons, you might just die or give up the ghost. Right. So the Lord is showing mercy, right? But every once in a while, when it's time for your death, you see throughout all the movies and the shows, when a person is about to die, they'll see a person walk past them. They'll see, like Jack Reacher, right? They'll see a creature walk past them and they're like, who the hell is this? And you're like, yeah, I'm deaf. I'm here to get you. And they're the only one that can see that person or that angel or that deaf angel. Nobody else can see it, right? So a quick piece I want to bring out. Yeah, Numbers 22 and verse number 31. I'll read it just to add real quick. It's the book of Numbers, chapter 22 and verse number 31. God, Numbers 22 and verse 31. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn to his hand, and he bowed down his head and fell flat on his face. And the angel of the Lord said unto him, wherefore hast thou smitten thine ass these 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand thee, because thy way is perverse before me. And the ass saw me and turned from me these 3 times. So it's showing that the donkey, the animal, peeped the angel, and Balaam couldn't see him. Like there's so many stories on YouTube talking about like animals, cats, dogs, horses. They can see the angels, they can see the demons, right? But the humankind cannot see them with the human eyes, right? Unless she had turned from me, surely now also I had slain thee and saved her life, save her alive. So it showed you in Numbers 22, it said the Lord opened up the eyes of Balaam. He opened up his spiritual eyes and he could see the angel that was right in front of him the whole time. But the Lord had to open up his eyes for him to see that. And the angel had his sword and he was ready to kill him. Same thing with Elisha in 2 Kings. Elisha was able to see the angels, the chariots, and all of that stuff. But his servant couldn't see it. So he prayed unto the Lord to open up his eyes. And he blessed him with the spiritual eye. And he could see the demons and the angels right around them and surrounding them the whole time. So to be able to see that, the Lord got to give you the ability to see that. You see what I'm saying?
God.
So just want to add that real quick. David Wilcox finished.
I know, man. He looked like,
damn.
He looked like he was death warmed over, as they say. You know?
God.
All right, then we'll watch this real quick video. Two quick videos. One is Esau kind of like copping a plea, like, oh, what do y'all know? You know what I'm saying? Like I was bringing out, you know what I'm saying? We get it. You know what I'm saying? This is the judgment of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. We can go back and forth and say this is the government, this God, this government, God, whatever. Either way, these dudes is getting taken out left and right. So what Esau doesn't realize is that this is the way the Most High operates. Okay. So let me put this on real quick.
Clear that we are watching the fall of the it's clear that we are watching the fall of the American empire in real time. And there is a stark difference in the way that the white community is responding and how the black community is responding. The black community in mass has completely withdrawn. They fought, they campaigned, they warned us, and we chose the orange man anyway. And they're out. The white community, on the other hand, is fighting. Those of us who aren't under Trump's spell. And there is this real sentiment that if we can just get Trump out of the way, then we can all get back to normal. But the thing is, that's not what God is doing. And I'm not a nihilist, but we're missing the point. The point is this white supremacist system has wreaked enough havoc, enough. And God is judging it. And the fact that we are clinging so hard to it makes me wonder, what does the black community see that we don't? that's allowing them to totally let go right now. So it's clear that we are watching the fall.
All right. Well, we know our Heavenly Father take care of business, and it's nothing we can fight, you know, and nothing we can do to y'all that can supersede what God is doing. So it's like, man, y'all want to continue to play? Y'all want to continue to do this? Good luck. You know, it's one video where a brother's just walking down the street and the cop's walking behind him. He got his phone out. He's like, man, look at this. He's like, am I being detained? Yes, you're being detained. Stop right there. He's like, why? He's like, you know, checking you for weapons. He's like, what makes you think I got a weapon? Well, you looked at us twice and you shifted your bag. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just whatever. This, you know, this is the way they still want to act. And, you know, they could have really shot that brother, like, stop moving. You know what I mean? And then got a GoFundMe and been sergeant by the time they came back from their paid vacation. So the Lord is going to destroy you. As simple as that.
Hey, Salakia, I got a quick preset for that video. It's perfect, guy. Revelations chapter 18 and verse 4 and 5. This is a good one. It says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God have remembered her iniquities. So just to that's literally what the dude was saying. Like, why is the black people withdrawing and the white people still fighting? And what is going on? And then, like he was saying, yeah, God is bringing an end to the American system. So the Lord said, come out of her, my people. Yeah, we're withdrawing, stepping back. We're not protesting no more, fighting for America. And they says, why? Why is this all coming to an end? Because the sins of America have reached unto heaven. It's over. It's over.
It's right.
Yeah, it's over, man.
Done. Stick a fork in them. They're
Right,
done.
it's done. God, I yield.
God. Excellent precept.
God.
This so I want to watch another video, right? This video is what I see as like all these scientists being missing and everything like that, how the Most High will make the perfect scenario. You know what I mean? When you sit back and watch it, you're like, damn, that's crazy how all these puzzle pieces came together at the right time. So with this one, you know, they used to take our children, right? They still do. You know what I'm saying? Do, you know, DHS or whatever you have in your neighborhood, whatever they want to call it. You know what I mean? Your child scrapes his knee. They're like, oh, you're getting beat at home? Oh, taking your child out your house. You know what I'm saying? It might not be that all the time that you know, simplistic, but at the same time, I'm almost certain that these things happen more to our people than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So, but back in slavery, your wife had a baby. Here, that baby's going up this plantation. This baby's going up that plantation, and you know what I'm saying? That type of separation from a mother and the family, babies is traumatic. It goes through generations. You know what I'm saying? You never know who your parents are. Your mom never know what happened to you. This, that, and the third. So now what's happening to them? The curses coming on to them. So this happened in 1969, but just listen to the nuances of how the Most High had this come together. You know what I'm saying? All right, let me see if I can line it up. Father's Day. Also, I gotta say, Fair Use Act, Fair Use Act. These videos are protected by the Fair Use Act.
Come.
Okay, here we go.
Is it sharing?
Oh, Slocky, it's not. My bad.
No.
You can't see it?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right. I'll leave it at here because you can hear it. But my fault, y'all.
Oh, you good.
All right, let's do that again. I'm not gonna rewind it since y'all can hear what was happening. But here's the actual video. So it's on Father's Day. Come on, man. Most High don't play no games. This happens on Father's Day. And the people that came up to him, it's like, oh, I got children your same age. Can they play together? And then they play this game of hide and seek. So let's continue from there.
The parents. And, at some point the parents say, okay.
Slocky though, could you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah, I can hear it and see it. Go on.
Okay, but before, could you hear the whole story? Huh?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because it wasn't shared. Yeah, the screen wasn't shared. That's why.
Oh, okay. Let me rewind it so we get the full understanding of what's going on.
69, 6-year-old Dennis Martin, his brother, his father, and his grandfather headed up to the Smoky Mountains to go camping. This was a family tradition on Father's Day, and they were really excited about it. They get to the same campsite they always used. They set up, they have a wonderful first night, they camp out, and the next day, another camper in the area happened to walk by and saw that Dennis and his brother were playing there. And so this camper had kids as well, and he asked Dennis's father, hey, would it be okay if I brought my kids by? They're the same age as your sons, and they can just play together. Dennis's father says, sure, bring them down. And so the man goes, gets his kids, they come back, and before long, all the kids are playing hide and seek. Now, Dennis's father would say that he had an eye on Dennis the whole time. He was just at a distance, but watching his son to make sure he didn't get lost. And so at one point, all the kids are hiding from the parents. And, at some point, the parents say, okay, show yourselves. And all the kids, except for Dennis, show themselves. And Dennis's father has watched Dennis go behind a particular tree. He watched him do it. He was watching the whole time. And so when they said, come on out, and he didn't come out, he actually wasn't that concerned because he knew exactly where his son was. And then after a few moments, he yelled to his son directly and starts walking over and says, Dennis, come out, Dennis. I know you're behind the tree. And when he finally got over there, Dennis wasn't there. Dennis's father immediately starts running off into the woods, screaming for his son. And he actually ends up running almost 2 miles up the Appalachian Trail, just hollering for his son, and he can't find him. And then the rest of the family had broken up and was searching the area because they're thinking like, he couldn't have gone very far. He was literally just here. And Dennis's father had said before, like, I watched him go behind the tree. I watched him. I don't know where he is, but I watched him go behind the tree. And so they're searching everywhere, and Dennis is gone. So a huge search, in fact, the biggest search in park history ensues with 1,500 searchers that included the Army Green Berets, so the special forces got involved. They are combing a 60 square mile plot. They're looking everywhere, and there is nothing. There's no trace. There's no scent. There is nothing connected to Dennis Martin anywhere. And so they go back to Dennis's father, and they're like, you have to tell us what you saw. Again, this doesn't add up. If you were looking at the tree and he was right there, how is it that he has just vanished into thin air? But no one knew. That was it. No one knows what happened. There's no closure. He's just gone, and they never knew what happened to him. Years later, when David Paulides was doing his research for Missing 411 and was researching the Dennis Martin case, he interviewed other families that had been at the campground at the same time that Dennis had gone missing. And one of those families was the Key family. And they had asked a park ranger where they could go on the campground where they might be able to see some bears. And so the park ranger obviously said, be careful, but you can go over here to this section of the campground and you might see a bear. And so they head over there and they're looking for bears. And one of their children hears a scream or thinks he hears a scream and kind of directs the family to look in the direction of the scream. And from their vantage point, they could see up onto the side of this mountain where there was, call it sparse trees all over the mountain. So you can kind of see in between the trees. And they saw what looked like a bear running along the mountainside, but with something slung over its shoulder. Except the interesting thing about this bear was the father was quoted as saying that it didn't really act like a bear. It was acting more like a human the way it was running. It looked, hairy and like an animal, but it was running and dodging between trees. It was holding this what looked like a child over its shoulder, it acted almost like a human. And so you have a bear man that has been spotted by the Key family, and they bring this up to the investigators that are looking into the Dennis Martin case. And obviously the Dennis Martin investigators, they don't take this seriously. They think that they're just saying some ridiculous thing for attention or whatever it is. So it never really was entered into the case with Dennis Martin. It wasn't until the missing 411 cases that it was ever connected. But there really was a family that claims to have seen a bear man carrying a child about an hour after Dennis Martin had gone missing in the same area where Dennis Martin had gone missing.
All right, so the Key family, right? You know what I'm saying? And Dennis Martin he's done. You know what I'm saying? He's done for. So let's get Obadiah 1:15.
God.
The Lord don't play about his people. So I heard the story before. Okay.
1:15.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a true story. And and I might have talked about it before. I don't know if you heard it from here or somewhere else, but it's something I always go to because it makes sense. This is how these things are happening. They're getting snatched up and they're never being seen again. Okay. The Lord not playing. Can you bring it out?
This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse number 15. For the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head.
This is what you did to us. This is what the Lord is doing to you. You know what I'm saying? It's something you're gonna have to deal with, and it's only gonna get worse. I can't. You know what I'm saying? There's no light at the end of the tunnel for y'all. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So you might as well just get used to it. And when it really sinks in, that's what we talk about. They're gonna be grabbing you at your on your fringes, like, yo, can I come with you? I heard the Lord is with you. They be giving up the gold then. Elon Musk ain't gonna need no $65 billion and his ton of racism that he spews out on a daily basis. He's gonna want to live for another 2 to 3 minutes. You know what I mean? And that's going to be the collective consciousness of America and beyond, the Edomites and the other nations. Okay, they're gonna realize what they've done, and they're you put your sorries in a sack, but then give it to somebody who needs it. We're not going to need sorries. You know what I'm saying? That's when it says in Isaiah 60, there's going to be bringing in everything, their gold, their jewels, everything that they working hard for and accumulating on this earth is going to be yours. That's just the way it's going to be. All right. Let's get Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 6. Another mass shooting happened, but this time it happened on a pyramid of all places. You know what I'm saying? Down in Mexico. And there was a bunch of so-called Canadians and Americans, Edomites that got clapped up. You know what I mean? They thought they was going to have a good time, go check out the things that our ancestors have built. You know what I mean? And that thing came right back to them. You could bring that out, King.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35 and verse number 6. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. See, if thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
You know what I'm saying? Didn't hate blood, now it's pursuing you. You can't, there's nowhere you can go. You set up this trip. Oh man, next year I'm gonna go to the pyramids down in Mexico. We have a good time, yada yada yada. Boom. Blood's right behind you. You know what I mean? Judgment's right there. There's nowhere you can go. You know what I mean? Go ahead, 3 verse 7.
Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it that passeth out, and him that returneth.
Mount Seir is a so-called white man, right? Make you most desolate and getting chopped down on top of a mountain. And they said we're gonna watch the video, but there's nowhere you can go. You're on top of a pyramid, and this dude has a gun and a whole bunch of bullets. Where are you running to? You know what I'm saying? You gonna jump off the mountain? I mean, you gonna jump off the pyramid? He's blocking all the exits, so people just sitting back. It was terror stricken. You know what I mean? And terror is going to be around him on all sides. All right, so let's get that.
No, verse 8?
No. I'm gonna play the video.
Now, these new and terrifying images coming in tonight after those tourists came under attack by a gunman, many running for their lives, including many Americans, when that gunman opened fire, taunting them at an ancient pyramid outside Mexico City. And tonight, what we have just learned, what authorities now say they found on the gunman, images involving Columbine. Again tonight, Matt Rivers.
Tonight, harrowing new video of that deadly shooting rampage at the ancient Teotihuacan pyramids outside Mexico City. Tourists, including children, taking cover, trapped high up on that pyramid as a lone gunman opened fire. That shooter heard taunting his victims as he shot 7 people. A Canadian tourist killed 6 Americans among the 13 people injured. Many running for their lives down the stone steps. American Greg Magadini visiting with friends.
There was only 3 real options that anyone could do: stairs, jump off the side ledge, or lay down and see what happens.
And tonight, Mexican authorities revealing the shooter, identified as a 27-year-old Mexican national, was carrying images and handwritten notes tied to the Columbine school shooting inside his backpack, as officials investigate the shooting as a copycat attack 27 years to the day of the Columbine massacre. Investigators now looking at this image, showing the suspect's revolver, a knife, and dozens of rounds of ammunition, saying he took his own life. David, authorities say the shooter planned this attack in detail, visiting the pyramids multiple times before the shooting. David?
27 years after Columbine. Matt Rivers, thank you.
This is Democracy Now!, Democracy Now!
Okay, so oh boy, right? Matter of fact, you can read verse 8. Yeah, verse 8's a scripture.
Verse number 8. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men. In thy hills and in thy valleys and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword.
God, he said it was nowhere to go. You're gonna jump off the pyramid, run by the gunman. You know, that has to be completely terrifying. And you know, this is you know, the Canadian got shot and 7 people shot, which of course completion, you know what I mean? He turned into a death angel. You know, he waited until the 27th anniversary of Columbine to shoot up a pyramid. Can you put that on your, your calendar? Like, I'm gonna shoot up a pyramid. Can you, Miss Cleo and her crystal ball couldn't come up with this, you know what I'm saying? A pyramid, you know what I'm saying? You would think that's kind of a place where it's kind of off limits. Nope. When you're dealing with Yahweh Shem Yahushua, there's, safety is an illusion unless you're doing what he says. From the 12 tribes of Israel, you follow these law, statutes, commandments. You know what I mean? This is deadly.
Yeah, what they call that a pyramid scheme.
Pyramid scheme. Right? You know what I'm saying? The Illuminati to try to get to the top of the pyramid.
Good.
You know what I mean? Pyramid on back of the dollar bill. And that's another thing. Like that's what symbolizes like bondage from the what they say is the pyramid on the back of the dollar bill being from Egypt. Now it's going back to them. It's they catching the same raft they gave us. But it's gonna be double. So it's really gonna get worse now. All right. Pyramid scheme. Kyle, let's get Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. On top of all this that's going on, the war is starting up again. I'm looking for contributing more information regarding bombing, right? That happened in Iran, but I'm not seeing it. So I might have to, I put up a post talking about that it's happening. Maybe that might have been fake news. So I'm gonna look into it. All right. Turkey and Israel are going to have a serious war in Lebanon. Okay, I look into that too. But Salakia, that might not be happening right now because I don't see any, other news backing that up.
Oh,
but maybe that might be a precursor for tonight. I don't know. But let's not forget that the draft is back. So coming in December, people draft age. I don't know what that is now. You know what I mean? They're going to be automatically enrolled in the draft. Which
yeah, they said from 18 to 25. But it's going to go up.
Yeah. Because now you're able to go into I don't know who would want to do that anyway, but you're able to go into the Army it was 35 was the max. Now it's 42. So just like it happened in Ukraine, they say, hey, 18 to 25. And then, nobody shows up, 18 to 35. And now they just grabbing anybody. If you got a heartbeat, you can stand there with a gun. And that's you automatically enroll in the selective service, which means you can get drafted. Okay.
Yeah, Salaki, the reason why I say it's going to go up because desperation. This devil know this is it. So he gonna go out guns blazing. He gonna throw everybody on that line. He don't care what age you are. He throwing everybody on. If your ass can breathe, you done took a check from America, he gonna find a way to throw you on that line.
Fight for freedom.
Yeah. God. Remember, Aki said he has no regard for older or the young. So he don't care. A veteran, whatever, hey, he'll say whatever he got to say to get you on that line. Promise you this, hey, I'll help you with your pension and all of this stuff. I'll pay for your house, whatever. The minute he gets you on that battlefield, all his promises is lies. He ain't got to promise you nothing. He ain't got to keep none of them. So the desperation going to kick in for America, and that age going to go from 25 for 35, 45, 55, because this is it for Esau. So he going to throw everything he got. So, yeah.
Excellent point. Yeah, you make tell you everything that you want to hear. We'll pay for your schooling. We'll get rid of your student loans and Right. Like, all right, I guess so. But then when you look at how many homeless vets there are now, you know what I'm saying? You're like, well, you ain't look out for them. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about them. We got you though. we got you. The white man, he speaks with a forked tongue, man. He's a snake. It's a snake if I ever seen one. Kenny, you can bring it out.
It's the book of Joel, chapter 3, and verse number 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up.
Okay, so prepare war. You know what I mean? They doing negotiations, they say, right? This is negotiations. But every time they negotiate, they bomb somebody. So
they break their treaty. Can't trust them.
It's like every treaty with the so-called Native Americans, Gad, Reuben, all treaties got broken. So let's check this out. Talk about the draft.
.org. I'm Amy Goodman. The federal government's preparing to begin automatically registering eligible U.S. men ages 18 to 26 for the military draft pool. The U.S. hasn't had a draft since 1973, but it still maintains a registry of eligible men in case the draft is restored. The new rules around automatic military draft registration were tucked into the 2026 National Defense Authorization Act. In early March, White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt did not rule out President Trump reinstating the draft itself. She was questioned by Fox News host Maria Bartiromo.
Mothers out there are worried that we're going to have a draft, that they're going to see their sons get in and daughters get involved in this. What do you want to say about the president's plans for troops on the ground? As we know, it's been largely an air campaign up until now.
It has been, and it will continue to be. And President Trump wisely does not remove options off of the table.
We're joined now by Edward Hasbrook, organizer with the Anti-Draft Coalition, which opposes the plan for automatic registrations, calling for repeal of the Military Selective Service Act. Editor and publisher of resistors.info. He is a member of the War Resisters League and the Military Law Task Force of the National Lawyers Guild. His recent piece for Responsible Statecraft is headlined, Even if Team Trump wanted a military draft would be a fiasco, unquote. In the 1980s, Hasbrouck publicly refused to register for the draft and spent 6 months in prison. Can you talk, Edward, about what has changed? What is this draft registry that the Trump administration is bringing back?
Well, since 1980, men have been supposed to register with the Selective Service system within 30 days of their 18th birthday and tell Selective Service within 10 days every time they move until they reach age 26. Very few people do. The efforts to enforce that against a handful of public non-registrants whose public statements could be used to convict us collapsed in the early 1980s. Nobody has been prosecuted in decades. But in the face of growing pressure to recognize the failure of Selective Service and the unavailability of a draft, instead, to save their jobs, the Selective Service system came up with a plan, which they managed to sneak through Congress last year, to give Selective Service a second chance to try to register potential draftees automatically. Now, that won't work because the federal government doesn't have the data they need, but it will produce a database that's highly vulnerable to misuse and weaponization. And even more importantly, it will continue to prop up the myth that the draft is available as a fallback, which in turn enables continued planning for larger, longer wars without war planners having to think about whether enough people would be willing to fight them.
Why do you write that to activate the draft would be a fiasco?
Well, in order to figure out who's supposed to register, the government would need to know current addresses, which they don't have. You don't have to report to the government when you move. They would have to figure out sex as assigned at birth, which is the criteria for eligibility for the draft, which isn't reflected in current records in many cases that show current gender. They'd need to know the names and mailing addresses of every immigrant, including undocumented immigrants who clearly aren't included in current federal databases. So they wouldn't have a database that's either accurate or complete. And in addition, they would have the same problems enforcing an actual draft that they had when they tried to enforce registration back in the 1980s, which are that they could only prosecute people if they could prove that their refusal was knowing and willful, which meant they first had to track them down and provably notify them, which they could do in a handful of cases for show trials, but it didn't really scale. And the reason they abandoned the enforcement of draft registration back in the 1980s was that the prosecutions backfired and young people got the message that there was safety in silence and safety in numbers. And it's that continued quiet but persistent, nonviolent, non-cooperation by young people that has been one of the greatest successes of the peace movement and of nonviolent direct action in past decades that has prevented a draft. We should thank young people for their service in reining in military expansionism.
Shortly after Trump's inauguration, DOJ was sent in and given access to the current Selective Service registration database. What's the relationship between the Selective Service system and immigration enforcement?
Well, even before putting in place this plan for automatic draft registration, which will take effect in December, unless in the meantime, in this crucial year, we can get the Selective Service Repeal Act, which will be reintroduced probably quite shortly in Congress. If we can't get that enacted, the change will take effect in December. But what that will do is it will give Selective Service unprecedented power to obtain from any other federal agency any information they think might help them identify or locate potential draftees. Now, even before that took effect, at the end of last year, the Selective Service did give notice that they will be turning over their existing registration list for immigration enforcement and other purposes. And once it goes to Doge, we don't know what those other purposes are, but given the information in the database, it's particularly likely to be weaponized for other purposes against vulnerable trans and immigrant youth.
And finally, if you don't have a draft, how does it end up? It's poor people who go into the military because they need the financial support. And that's who ends up fighting U.S. wars. We have 30 seconds.
I think the important thing is to take the draft off the table, remove it from the arsenal of war planning, which by forcing the government to confront the question before they make wars of whether enough people will fight them, actually constrains wars before they happen, as opposed to fighting an anti-war movement after they're on.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, well, I don't think Trump cares. I don't think he cares. He likes that dictator Hitler, you know what I mean, Kim Jong-un type style. He wants his name to be in the rafters with dudes like that. But yeah, so draft is coming, you know what I'm saying, to add on to more great death in this time period that we're living in. American teenagers, young adults will be drafted to go to war in Iran, and that's a place that probably not going to come back from. You know what I'm saying? And Donald Trump said that. He was arguing with somebody. He's like, we can't go to the island of Keg or Craig, whatever it is. And he's like, we're going to be sitting ducks. We're all going to get killed. So he's very aware that a lot of people ain't coming back. But this time period we're living in, you know what I mean? Let's go to Isaiah 14 and verse 21.
Isaiah 14 and 21.
Khan.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, and verse number 21. It says, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, and that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
Khan, you know what I'm saying? The children are going to have to pay for what their parents have done, their ancestors have done. Read on.
Khan. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord.
Yeah, y'all got to go. All got to go. The whole family, you know, nephew, son, everybody, you know. And that idea, Christianity really does people a disservice as far as like the pastors go, talking about, you know, Jesus is coming back and hug everybody. We're reading that that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff is prophesied to happen, and it is actively happening right now. We have another video we're going to put on about what Esau sees. It's like, yeah. What Esau's well, let's just watch it. Let's just watch it. We'll talk about it when we get back.
This guy over here, Dana Stevens, right? He came out last year with a very powerful message. It was so powerful, it rang throughout the ethers of TikTok, okay? And TikTok, unfortunately, took that video down. Well, he is back to provide us with another powerful message, and I see it be fit to share with the whole community, right? He is only coming on here to validate what we have been saying. This is prophecy that's coming into fruition. If you guys read the Bible, you'll know what's going on. He is telling y'all that this is the end of America, and this is the rise of Tamerica, okay? But listen to what we have to say, y'all.
This is your brother Dana, and I'm coming to you from that place in one love. To you, my white, evangelical, conservative, Republican, Christian, Trump-loving family members, I have a couple things I need to share with you that will bring you some understanding of what lies ahead. See, you are not, white family, about to enter, as President Trump says, your golden ages. But in fact, you are at the end of the reign or the season of the Gentiles. So you are not about to enter your golden ages. That's over, that's done. But you are now entering the judgment of payback, according to Revelation chapter 18, double given to you for the evil that you have portrayed upon others. So what am I saying here to you, my white family? Get ready to experience Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 66. It says, you will live in constant suspense, filled with dread both day and night, never sure of your life. See, for 400 years, we have placed our black brothers and sisters under just that. Constant fear of their life because of the injustices and the hatred that comes from you, my white family. So now that your season of the Gentiles is over, your reign is coming to an end, the Bible says you will receive double payment for all the evil that you have given out to our black brothers and sisters. See, that's why in the middle of the night, young ladies were swept away by a flood nobody saw coming. That's why sitting in church and sitting in schools, it is the white man that comes in and takes the lives away from your children. See, you will be repaid for all the evil that you have done. And it's not coming from the black man, it's not coming from the illegal alien, but it's coming from within you and the evil that you have lived out for over 400 years. So get used to this new normal, white family. For the time of the Gentiles is over. And now you are about to experience what it's been like as a black man and a black woman underneath you. But double. May God, the Most High Yah, have mercy on you.
And when I tell you guys what I'm seeing from these comments and from these videos, people are in a state of despair, constant anxiety, constant fear. They are, something is happening spiritually, internally within these people, y'all. So that's what I'm saying. Currently, there is a spiritual war taking place internally and externally within our planet. People are going through it on a level that we can't even fathom. But all of this is part of the illusion that needs to be broken down for us to realize we didn't need any of this. We could be solely living on the land peacefully and quietly. It's only because certain people can't. That's why we haven't figured that out yet. But with this new energy fluctuation coming in, we're getting to it, y'all. We are powering up. But yes, y'all, do y'all feel that shit? Because I do. And shout out to Dana Stevens for expressing his truth. Let me know what you guys think about this video, y'all. Let's continue.
Yeah, right on. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Shout out to Macabre. Excellent video. That's the truth. And he was talking about those little girls that were swept up in that flood. That was around July 4th. We was down there rebuking America at that time. You know what I mean? And that just happened like the 3rd or something, or going into the 4th, or it happened to the 4th going into the 5th. It's real close around that time. And yeah, you know, it's just something that you got to get used to. You know, it's gonna be rough, but hey, you'll be all right.
Right.
Probably not, but got to deal with it. All right. Now let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 12. Couple more videos. Couple more. I think literally more. 2 more. All right.
You said 2nd Ezra 16 and 12?
Khan.
Okay.
Khan. Salakia for everybody that came on. You know what I mean? If you appreciate the material and the work put in, I would definitely appreciate a like. You know what I mean? Comment. You know, subscribe if you haven't already, and you know, let me know. Do you see this? Do you see what's going on? Are you picking up the same you know, the same message? You know what I mean? That the Most High is judging this place. Let me know in the comment section. You know, let me know. All right, Kai King, you could bring it out.
Okay, Khan. It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, and verse number 12. The earth quaketh, and the foundation thereof. The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also, before the Lord and before the glory of his power.
So large earthquake occurred in Japan. 7.7. You know, America downgrades it. I don't know why they do that. Like other countries, I don't think do that. But since America's like, you know, the leader of the free world, they called, you know, some people listen to what America says. Because it could be like a 9.0 magnitude earthquake, and America's like, nah, 6.2. And everybody's like,
Right.
okay, 6.2 it is, you know. But when it first happened, it was a 7.7. A lot of shaking going on. Okay. And this is in Japan. We just had a rebuke of what's it called, the Panda Fest. We had the Panda Fest at our campsite, and I thought it was just Moab, but apparently the Panda Fest is just all Asia, right? So I seen this earthquake. I said, okay, that makes sense, because they had a lot of Jake that was in line.
And the alert desk is following.
A lot of Jake that was in line on the Sabbath buying tickets, buying these little goofy panda hats, and you know what I mean? It's pretty much selling food. So what kind of food are they having? Dumplings, pork dumplings, I'm sure. A lot of, you know, their type of food, you know what I mean? But it's unclean to us. So breaking the Sabbath, eating unclean food, you know, yeah, all Asia can get it at this point. So let's watch the video.
And the alert desk is following some breaking news right now at 6:03. I've been tracking this very closely because a very powerful earthquake has hit just off the coast of Japan overnight. I want to give you live pictures here that we've been closely monitoring because there have been reports of some of the first initial tsunami waves starting to crash against some of the shores there in northern Japan. Now, things are pretty dark there right now. Time there in northern Japan, it's around 7:03 in the evening. I can tell you this earthquake that happened now just about an hour and a half ago, it was a 7.5 magnitude earthquake, a pretty strong one. Now, we've been watching here as this helicopter has been flying around, not seeing a lot of damage at this point, but what we have seen are some of those really strong waves already hitting some of the shores there. Some of the initial reports are coming in, waves at about 3 feet high. Waves could, though, reach 10 feet high in certain areas. So we're watching several cameras, waiting for new video to come down. We can tell you right now, folks are being told to get to higher ground if they're in some of those areas that could be impacted by tsunami waves. So we're talking tens of thousands of people here after this 7.5 magnitude earthquake. Again, not getting any initial reports of severe damage here in northern Japan, but the concern right now is for the possibility of these really high tsunami waves and those waves then hitting the shore and possibly flooding some of these areas. So we'll keep you posted on this as it's unfolding.
Okay, so a tsunami did strike. This is like the first initial, you know what I mean, earthquake just happened. It was actually hit by a tsunami, you know what I mean? When the huge tsunami that happened, I think it was like 2011, but tsunami waves did hit the shoreline. And so you got an earthquake, 7.7, they say 7.5, 7.7, and a tsunami. What can the Most High fit in, you know what I mean, this amount of time, you know, of prophecy? A lot, apparently. Question for everybody in the comment section. Have you been seeing some numbers as of lately? Like, I just noticed doing this class, it's been a lot of sevens, you know what I'm saying? A 7.7 magnitude earthquake, 7 people shot up at that you know, the pyramid, you know what I mean? And me personally, I'm seeing a lot of 144s, you know what I'm saying? If it's either 1:44 a.m., p.m., 11:44, 10:44, you know what I mean? Taxes on the receipt, 1:44. So it's something I can't ignore, you know what I mean? I was wondering if anybody else have seen anything as of late, because it's a lot going on, you know what I mean? All right, so our last,
they say signs and symbol for the conscious mind, you know. Yeah, I see some numbers, man.
Con.
I've seen some numbers, boy.
Yeah, it's hard to ignore. It's hard to ignore. He's trying to get our attention, You know what I mean? Hopefully we all peeping, you know what I mean, what the Most High is dishing out.
Con.
Let's go to Deuteronomy 8 and verse. We're gonna end with that 8 verse 6. Health wise, you know what I mean? Importance of health, Yes, he's talking, you know what I mean? He's definitely talking to us. Symbolism and everything, right? So the health, something simple as an orange, eating an orange. And I like oranges, right? Everybody, very sweet. You get a good orange and your taste buds be going off the hook. But it always I always think about the difficulty in actually opening an orange, almost like opening up a coconut. Like the Most High put some of the best and nutritious things for us in places that difficult to enter, if you will. You know what I mean? Kiwis, you got to peel the skin if you do. You know what I mean? I don't know if you eat the skin of the kiwi. I'm not necessarily a fan, but I know it's good for you, but the stuff that you got to peel, somebody has some of the best stuff in there for you. Bananas. Apparently I learned a couple years ago that their real bananas have seeds in them. Who knew? You know what I'm saying? But I know, when you have to, you look at gorillas and monkeys, how strong they are, and that they just eat certain, vegetables or fruits and foliage or whatever, that stuff really, can bulk you up, you know what I mean? But let's bring that out. Deuteronomy 8 and 6.
Con. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8 and verse number 6. Therefore, thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways and to fear him.
Con, read on.
For the Lord thy God bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks of water, of fountains and depths that spring out of valleys and hills.
Con, you can imagine that. We close. Stay strong. Go ahead.
A land of wheat and barley and vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of oil, olive, and honey.
Con. And pomegranates, they're kind of, you gotta peel them to get out the good of it. You know what I'm saying? So I just put that in there as like, things that you got to work for as far as food goes to get the peel and everything. Some of them had the best nutritional value in there. Read on, read verse 9.
A land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarceness. Thou shalt not lack anything in it. A land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills thou mayest dig brass.
Con, you know what I'm saying? It's the blessings. We got to obey Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and we get some amazing things coming to us. We finish out with verse 10.
When thou hast eaten and art full, then thou shalt bless the Lord thy God for the good land which he hath given thee.
So we cannot forget, you know what I mean? Like we want to do everything ourselves. We could do this, we could do that. I got it from the mud and everything like that. The Most High been walking next to us the whole time, man. You know what I mean? Keeping us sustained, keeping us alive. You know what I mean? You might have went through the worst possible things, you know what I mean, ever. But, you know what I mean? The Lord, we building ourselves up. Most High is building us up. Like, so this time period that we living in now, we're built for this. We are built for it. Esau is not built for nothing, man. He is going to start skydiving without a parachute. You know what I'm saying? Like we know how to stretch $1. We know how to stretch some dinner, the breakfast, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm gonna fast today. Look, we've been through it. You know what I mean? So just count it all joy that, you know what I mean, what they see as an economic downslide is the way we've been living since we got here. You know what I mean? So we on a winning team too.
Literally,
God. Like, oh, like the economy's bad. Like, for real, ain't nothing really changing my budget. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to keep that in mind, y'all. You know what I mean? We're built for this, just like the troops and the Marines and the Army and everything like that. We are ready for what's coming. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High got us. So, let's just keep it going in the right direction. Matter of fact, you read verse 11.
Con. Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 11. Beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God, in not keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Kind of. So all that, the law's done away with. Y'all, kick rocks with that. We're going to follow the law to the best of our ability and just get more and more perfect, if you will, as the day goes on. That's our job. You know what I mean? Just getting better and better each day. That's the plan. All right. Constance Paul said, I eat the skin of the kiwi, wash it off good. It's edible. Okay. All praises. I figured that because I tried to take the skin off, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't think this is the way this works. You learn something new each and every day. You know what I mean? How the strongest animals eat vegetation only. Bull, gorilla, elephant. That makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? All praise to the Most High. Let's check out the last video, and we'll come back with closing.
A great majority of the world loves oranges, and we know that orange juice is made from oranges, but there's a big difference. Orange juice has very, very little fiber, and oranges have a lot. 3 of these oranges is 1 glass of orange juice, almost twice as much sugar. The problem with orange juice, fructose, that fructose cannot be absorbed so easily in our intestines. So where does it go? It goes to the liver. And if you're drinking lots of fruit juices, not only orange juice, you potentially can get a fatty liver, as well as other metabolic problems that may be affecting your body. And I first want to clarify that many people will say, well, oranges have lots of sugars, while oranges also have lots of nutrients and vitamins, as well as fiber. And when we eat fiber with the fruit in the whole state, it slows digestion down from our stomach into our small intestine. That means it slows the absorption of glucose into the cells. That means less insulin and less stress on the pancreas. And the fiber in oranges, which is a prebiotic, helps feed on the probiotics in your microbiome, in your colon. And having a strong microbiome will help increase the vitality of your immune system. It can help improve many conditions and problems in your digestive system. When we think of oranges, we think of vitamin C. And vitamin C helps build our immune system. It helps build collagen throughout our body, our ligaments, our tendons. And what about our skin? And that plays a tremendous role in helping reverse those fine lines and saggy skin. And oranges are also high in potassium. It can help cramping within your legs, as well as helping your cardiovascular system, your blood vessels, as well as lowering blood pressure. And not only the fiber in oranges will help keep your blood sugar levels in check, it will help lower high cholesterol, which prevents cardiovascular disease, that plaquing that can occur within those arteries. So why are oranges and the whole state so healthy? Because it has a low glycemic index of 40. The orange juice has a high glycemic index between 66 and 76, 100 being the highest. And the higher the glycemic index, the faster the sugars get into the cells, the more spike of insulin that we get, and eventually our body can become insulin resistant if this continues on for a period of time. And if you continue to drink these fruit juices, along with those additional carbs, those carbs can be stored only to a certain amount as glycogen in our liver and our muscles. And if you don't burn it off, and if it cannot be stored anymore, it then gets converted to fat. And not only fat within the abdominal area, which is visceral fat, which is the dangerous fat, which leads to metabolic syndrome, but a fatty liver as well. And inside the skin, attached to the actual orange that you're eating, is the pith. And that pith contains 30% of the fiber from that fruit. And that will help lower cholesterol, improve your blood sugar, improve your gut health, and to help you get rid of constipation and make you more regular. And inside that orange, as well as the pith, contains antioxidants in the form of flavonoids, as well as naringenin. And this has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects and some ability to reduce carbohydrate absorption from the intestinal tract, which has been shown to slow down the insulin response after eating, which can help with things like metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance, and type 2 diabetes. And don't be fooled by what you hear from others about oranges, because oranges are extremely healthy for you in the full state, eating it in moderation. As compared to orange juice, this I'll put below. So this orange, with these medicinal healing properties, can do wonderful things for the health and wealth of your body. Oranges are recommended by the American Diabetic Association, as well as many other diabetic associations worldwide, when you eat the orange in the whole state. The fiber, the phytonutrients, the minerals, the vitamins, and what this can do for our body is just beyond our imagination. So I hope that you found this video helpful, and please share it with your friends and family. Leave your comments below, and most important, make it a great day.
All right. So, you know what I'm saying? Now, I know when I have oranges, do you know what I'm saying? If I feel like I'm getting sick, you know that feeling you get like, damn, am I getting sick? Boom, I get an orange. You know what I'm saying? And if it turns over into like a full, like I ain't feeling good, it doesn't last long. Do you know what I mean? But if boom, I get an orange in me, start drinking some tea, you know what I mean? Stay away from the sugar and all the sweet stuff, because that kind of feeds off of that. Boom, it knocks that out. You know what I mean? So it saves me from getting all the other drugs and stuff that Esau got. You know what I mean? To kind of maintain it, take the healthy road if possible at first. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High he made all this stuff, you know. All praises. You know, the Most High made all this for us. You know, let your food be your medicine. Do you know what I'm saying? Of course, I'm not a doctor, so don't take this as medical advice, but this is how I've been moving, and so far so good. You know what I mean? And reading the scriptures, seeing the amazing things that, you know, I'll say like the scientists have gotten from natural healing and everything like that, gotten that information and putting it out there. You can take foods and, you know, minerals or whatever, herbs, and it'll help your body, you know. So we always gonna talk about this, Most High willing, after every class, some form or another. Hopefully this class was edifying. It is a lot going on, you know what I'm saying, as far as death goes. We gotta keep in mind, you know what I mean, as far as like friends and family that are not in the truth, are not found the law, statutes, commandments in the Bible, best thing you do is pray for them, you know what I mean. But we're in that time period, you know what I mean. Don't let something that happens to somebody you know that you know is not in the truth have you, you know, questioning God, because you got to think about it like this. Most Highs have mercy on them for all these years that they've been alive. You know what I'm saying? Each day that they've been alive, he's been having mercy on them, because the stuff that they do and the stuff that they don't do is enough to get them killed. You know what I'm saying? So I would just say, you know, bringing that out, don't let any type of judgment that the Most High does in the future affect your walk. Okay? And yeah, call me Ashala. We got next. I'm Chaasadyah and my swordsman.
Brother Ariel.
Keep it going, y'all.
Let's get it, man. Come.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Philadelphia. Philly, Philly. Home of brotherly love. We see you. Philly. Come on. HOI, represent for Philly. A strong shout out, brotherly love to my brothers from Philly. Greetings, it's your brothers from New York City. Home of the cream of the team of the baseball Phillies. We your Howard the Powers, favorite flowers, that's in lilies. We not smoking no Phillies, but enduring these curses. Philadelphia, one of the 7 holy churches. New York, see them, when we see the brothers, we greet them. Oh, the Rocky steps. Philadelphia Museum, Rittenhouse Square, Liberty Bell, Roosevelt Mall, downtown Philly, neighboring near the City Hall, lay in the cut, stay in the cut, straight off the edges. Put the knowledge on the highways and byways and the hedges. Holding the fort down with support, without the shackles. It's Philadelphia and New York, the rotten apple. Gathered with together brothers, we lock it down. In the city of brotherly love, what's the hometown? Philadelphia, the state that's known for the Philly cheesesteaks that be right across over the Franklin Bridge from New Jersey to Philly. We in it's HOI-NY and HOI Philly, HOI Philly, HOI Philly, HOI Philly, and New York City. See your Howard shot up above. It's HOI-NYJ in Philly, brotherly love. Shalom to my mighty brothers. Power to Israel. That's your brother. The Passover last year was in New York City. This year we celebrated in the home of Philly. Feeling the Philadelphia vibe, the tribe's feeling it. Keeping the laws, statutes, commandments, and we living it. Remember the Passover coming out of Egypt, the house of bondage, caught and brought into slave ships. Eat the unliving bread, the lamb, the bitter herbs, the wine, the blood of Yahweh Shai. What is the word? Represent the ancestors, the captivity, the history, the chronology, and the prophecies. Rehearse the righteous acts, that be the dilly. It's HOI Philly and New York City. We in Philadelphia, the state that's known for the Philly cheesesteaks that be right across over the Franklin Bridge from New Jersey to Philly. We in HOI-NY and HOI Philly, HOI Philly, HOI Philly, HOI Philly, and New York City.
Yo, how about the Philly with the hood packing back Philly, strap illy. If you acting hard, you can clap silly. They get the truth in the booth, eating bad Philly, posted mad video for the Howard like a rap city. Hammer leg getting mad, then your menopause. Caught the Howard to the people like a dinner floors. But I'm getting mad, nigga, you my wash pot. I want my fried rice cooked in a crock pot. We love Philly, bring the scriptures out non-stop. Hope all the heathen hit the world that they heart stop. If a Howard Shai was back here on earth today, it used Philly to a seed that crack vertebrae, murder rate. Deep Philly soft, you gon' know today. I pray the Lord for the words that I heard today. Got my spirit sharp, moving like a bird of prey. I pray the Most High, and you wanna throw them away. Like a lighter, hope my elders get worth away. HOI, but I'm screaming cause I mean it. Can't bring a heat to the devil, he's anemic. Raising up the army of the Howard is strategic. World War III, like a fire, it's the scenic. HOI to the chariots fly. Little Philly gonna scream until America die. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Philadelphia, the state is known for the Philly cheesesteaks that be right across over the Franklin Bridge from New Jersey to Philly. We in HOI-NY and HOI Philly, HOI Philly, HOI Philly, HOI Philly, and New York City.